everyone. Welcome back to the Ask Rebecca radio show. Thanks for joining me as always. I hope that everybody had a great week. So on last week's show, I had talked about one of the predictions was open doorways and that somehow something would show up with open doors. And so I just wanted to share how it showed up for me because I thought it was kind of comical. So back in May, we adopted a new puppy, rescued from Puerto Rico, a little boxer mix puppy. And so, maybe being a little overly cautious since we lost our boxer of 12 years, I decided I'm going to go super nutritious with food. I did a bunch of research on dog food and decided that I was going to feed him a human grade type dog food. So anyway, a couple of weeks ago, I put the dog food in the freezer. Well, of course, it was warm. So flash forward to yesterday, I'm trying to get the dog food out of the freezer. And at the time when I put it in, there's a slot that has a space for pizza that you could put it in there vertically. Well, I thought I was a genius by putting the dog food in that slot because then it would be out of the way. And I just thought it was the most fantastic idea ever until yesterday when I tried to get the dog food out. And because it was soft when I put it in, it molded and formed to the freezer door. So I could not get it out at all. So I basically spent yesterday for about 30 minutes laying on my kitchen floor with my blow dryer, blow drying my freezer door while it was wide open just to be able to soften up this dog food enough to pull it out. Of course, I was sweating and a little frustrated at the time because it was taking forever to defrost. But bottom line, I got it out, and all I could do is basically sweat and laugh at myself because, again, I thought I was making a genius move, and it turns out it wasn't so genius. But that was my experience with the whole open doorways. It would have been great if it was something more profound, but it is what it is. Hopefully for you guys, it was way better, and you guys had some new opportunities come your way and new doorways open up for you. All right, so let's get into what you can expect for this week ahead, which runs from tonight through to next Thursday, August 2nd. These are general predictions for everyone in areas of work, love, finances, health, and spirituality. If you're interested in any of my services that I offer, you can go to my website, AskRebecca.guru. So the general themes for this week, I feel like many of you could finally achieve something that you've been working long and hard for. Some of you will be getting what you want, things that you've been wishing for, things that you've been working for. And even if it ends up turning out, the things that you really, really wanted that end up showing up, I feel like a few of you guys will be like, oh man, I don't think I really wanted this, right? Like it's going to be one of those things where you really want something and then it turns out, oh crap, I'm not really wanted that at all. But either way, there's a level of fulfillment for everyone. So it just feels like, everybody's going to be experiencing some contentment and some happiness and some joy because whatever they've been wishing for and wanting has finally manifested for you. Now, at the same time, I feel like there could be some of you that will experience some impatience, some frustration. You're tired of waiting for things to change. It feels like nothing's moving ahead and you're stuck waiting around on other people to make decisions. It's kind of more of the same. That's just the energy that we're in right now. It's, a bunch of different things forcing us to kind of be stagnant. If you've done all you can, then just kick back and relax. If you haven't done all you can, then I feel like you need to take some action steps. Just don't force things or push things to happen when they're not ready. And I also feel some of you could experience wishful thinking. So I feel like you're going to be sitting around wishing things were different. Nothing seems to be happening that you want to happen, or you're just, basically comparing yourself to other people's lives and just wishing things were different. There's nothing wrong with dreaming big. So I'm all about dreaming big. However, you can't forget about the present moment and counting the blessings that you do have in your life. Don't spend, too much time on self-pity or wishing your life away. Lots of unknowns this week too. I'd tell you what they are if I knew. Some things you just aren't meant to know about in advance, so expect some surprises this week. I feel like everybody's going to experience that on some level or another. Along with the unknowns, or a connection to the theme for the unknown thing, I feel like some of you are going to have like a huge wake-up call. And this wake-up call, it's going to trigger you to get motivated. It could trigger you to get motivated in different aspects and different areas of your life. But I do feel like it could give you the courage or force you, if you're not paying attention. Sometimes God taps you on the shoulder for a long time until and realizes you're not listening until you get a serious shove. So I feel like it's going to force you to take a look at your flaws and what needs changing in order for you to live a more happy, more fulfilled life. So what needs changing within you to take control of your life? Maybe you need to cut some dead weight out of your life. Maybe you need to shape a more positive attitude and outlook. Maybe you need a new job. Maybe you need to get rid of some toxic relationships. Maybe you need to learn to love yourself, right? Respect yourself, value yourself. And, you need to do all of that before you can expect others to do it for you or give that to you. So I could rattle off a million different things that you could possibly potentially face, but you'll know what it is when you get triggered this week. And this isn't a negative thing. This is an empowering moment. So seize the opportunity and know that you're on the right path. Expect to see number sequences this week as well, confirming that you are on the right track, especially 1111. Escape is another theme this week. Some of you will feel like you just want to run away and escape your problems. Unfortunately, you can't outrun the problems. They have to be faced and resolved. The fear is greater than actually just dealing with what's going on in your life. So if you need help, reach out to someone you can trust and can help give you a different perception, maybe some solid solutions, and even uplift you. And if you don't have anyone in your life like that, well, feel free to call me. Another form of escape this week will take, I feel like, is going to be people that need to go and try something new, right? Some of you aren't really dealing with any major problems in your life. You're just doing the same old, day in, day out. You're not trying anything new. You're not bringing any new fresh energy in. So for you, I feel like escape comes in a different form. So get out of your rut and your routine. This week, those of you who are closed off to outside influences and keeping yourself locked away from others will hopefully have a wake-up call and realize you're holding yourself back. You're holding yourself back from new experiences that could enrich your life. And I feel like take a look at it as, is it worse to be alone, or is it worse to put yourself out there with the possibility of making new friends, having a romantic relationship, or just experiencing something new, whether it's food or travel or, anything. I just feel like you won't be any worse off for trying than you are in this moment. Now, those of you who let the outside world completely influence you and keep you distracted, I feel like this week you'll experience a wake-up call in a different way where you'll be maybe forced to be quiet, maybe stay home and focus on what's happening on deeper levels. You need a minute to gain some clarity, perspective, and focus on what it is that you actually want and need in your life. So make time to reflect. Everyone is going to be working on balancing out the extremes in their lives this week. So it kind of feels like that is the theme. Everybody, one extreme to the other and just finding your way to the middle. Now, tomorrow is the lunar eclipse, the blood moon, plus Mercury is going retrograde and Mars is still retrograde. So the energies are really intense. Expect to see more drama in the news about the crazy things happening in the world. Everything from weather extremes to people extremes. Emotions are high and mental stability is low. These days, it just seems like tragedies are the norm. Trust me, there's a lot of good things going on in the world as well. They just don't tell you about it because it doesn't pay to do so, right? So remember, negativity breeds negativity. So, that it can feed off of those vibrations, right? So stay positive even when you're facing adversity. Work, for those of you employed, there could be some delays this week. You could also be waiting on others to make some decisions for you, or, whatever, their decision affects your job in some way. I feel be patient, don't force things. These are similar things we've talked about in the past. I feel like whatever you're waiting on will have a positive outcome. And those of you who feel trapped or unhappy in your jobs, you could feel especially irritable this week. So it may be a tough week where you're just really hating life and really hating your job and really just hating the people you work with. And you could just be feeling annoyed and frustrated. Try to take a step back and not get into your emotions too much. And remember, the only one that's keeping you trapped is you. You have the power of choice. You can make changes. You just have to move past the fear. Those of you who think your jobs are super secure and there's no way you'll ever get fired or laid off, don't become overly confident. If you have ego surrounding this, I feel like in this day and age and the job market and the way things are going, it really is a revolving door. So you just never know what can happen. So I feel it's important to make sure you're staying humble, practice humility, do your job. And, if you're more ego-based and you're overly confident, I just feel like you could end up on the chopping block. So keep that in mind this week. Work, for those of you looking for a job, I'm not feeling much happening this week. The usual of just like job searching and applying, you're just hitting the ground running, trying to look for something that fits you. I do feel like step outside of your box, apply for things that you're afraid to apply for. Sometimes we limit ourselves thinking we couldn't do that. Look, if you've worked in an office environment your entire life, you can work in any office environment, right? So just go for it. I do feel a few of you may get some leads this week and maybe, some callbacks, but things just kind of feel stagnant and waiting on decisions from others. So I feel like, again, just be patient and, apply. Love, committed relationships and dating. Those of you in happy relationships, I feel like it's business as usual, not too much really happening. Those of you who have been dating for a while may have the urge to be pushy and force a deeper commitment, whether it's, exclusivity, you want to be boyfriend, girlfriend, you want to put a label on it. Maybe you want marriage, you want to get engaged. Maybe you're ready to have babies, or whatever your next level is within the relationship at deepening. I feel like you'll be feeling stir crazy because it's not happening and you'll want to be pushy and force things. I would advise against that. It will happen when your partner's ready. And I feel like distract yourself with other things, read a good book, maybe read a relationship book or read self-help books, or, do something that you would enjoy. And once you pull that energy away, that's when you're going to see the results that you want. Now, some of you who are with partners who aren't giving you what you need in the relationship, I feel like you need to speak up again in a healthy way with I statements. And I statements are I feel, I like, I don't want, I don't like, I love, right? It's all about what you're feeling. You're not projecting blame. You're just saying, hey, I'm feeling unappreciated or I'm feeling unheard. And you're expressing yourself in that way. Trust me, your partner knows if he's ignoring you. So you don't need to project blame. You just need to express what it is you feel and what it is you want. Now, I do feel like for some of you, you just can't get on the same page, right? It's you're having a difficult time reciprocating each other's needs, maybe it's time to explore other options. I'm a big proponent for always trying to work things out, because if you're not working it out with the one you're with, you're going to work it out with the next one, right? So just work through your stuff. And remember, you love each other, you care about each other, and you treat each other with respect and value and listen to each other. Those of you looking for love, not too much happening for singles this week with new connections. I do feel there are a few of you who are chasing or have your heart set on someone who just isn't into you, right? Like you're putting all your energy into this person. It's not being reciprocated. Maybe you're coming across a little needy. Maybe you're coming across a little asky, chasey, or whatever it is. I just feel like this person is completely emotionally unavailable. They may even, for some of you, it's an emotional unavailability. For some, it is a physical unavailability. Like maybe they're living in a different town and it's getting more and more difficult to actually see each other. So I just kind of feel like you really need to evaluate the situation and take a look at the red flags, right? Don't get all starry-eyed and goo-goo-eyed. And, remember to have self-worth, right? If your needs aren't being met or somebody that you're totally putting all this energy into is not reciprocating it, sometimes you just have to move on. So I would definitely say at the very least, open yourself up to dating other people. Finances, things are not moving this week financially, so it's a good time to just come up with a game plan on where you are, what you want to be happening for you financially in the future. Maybe you need to pay down some debt, so you're coming up with a game plan on how you're going to pay down debt. Maybe you're coming up with a plan for the future, where you want to be 5 years from now. Either way, maybe you're thinking about cutting expenses. Maybe you need to spend a little less on, frivolous things. Whatever it is, I just feel like this is a week where there's not much coming in and maybe more going out. Health, some of you I feel are waiting on test results and you're feeling anxious. Some of you are just experiencing anxiety, sleepless nights or restless nights where you're tossing and turning or you're having weird dreams. I feel like everyone needs to take a look at their attitude this week as well and make sure that you're mentally in a positive state of mind. I just feel like it will make a difference in your health. Now, I also feel like there's a few of you that need to consider some diet changes. You're eating things that aren't really working well with your body, and it's causing inflammation. It's causing maybe some minor allergies, and you're just not aware of it. If you maybe track what you're putting in your body so you can kind of put two and two together. And then I feel like a lot of you guys need some stress relief. I feel like you're not doing anything to relieve stress. You have stress all day long and from different areas of your life, but then you're not releasing it, right? So it's staying stuck in your belly and your chest and your back and your shoulders and your, legs. Like there's just a lot of tension there. So figure out what would work for you. Maybe some exercise or, meditation or something. I also feel like some of you really need to vent some negative feelings and get some relief from emotional traumas from your past, things that are going on in your life now. I feel like it would be a good, some good advice to seek counseling in some way. If you can't afford it, again, reach out to someone that you trust or go spill your guts to a stranger on a park bench that you won't ever see again after, right? Like just let it all out. Feel like you just need to release some stuff. Spirituality, patience will be the major focal point this week. Again, things aren't moving, so we can get a little annoyed. And the other will be the self-pity thing. So you could end up feeling sorry for yourself all week long or a day or two this week because you're wishing things were different or, you just, again, it's mainly the wishful thinking, like you wish things were different. So I suggest maybe each day writing down a couple of things in your life that you're grateful for or happy about so that you can keep that momentum going and attract more things to you. So that covers this week's predictions for everybody. I'm sending lots of positive vibes. That'll be a successful week for everyone. Let's go ahead and take tonight's caller. I have Teresa in Great Falls, Montana. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Rebecca. I'm doing great.
Thank you so much
How are you?
calling in. Oh, I'm doing great. Thanks for calling in. How can I help you?
Well, I've had this is wonderful that I've got this free reading, and I'm just so very appreciative of it. I could definitely use some helpful guidance and know some things that I just don't hear or know already. Just a little help.
Sure. What area, where do you want to go? Because I feel like right now, one of the biggest things that you're having trouble with is staying focused, right, on what it is that you want and need, like what direction you need to take. I feel like you're getting easily distracted in some way. But yeah. I do feel like you're going to start seeing some of the things that you've been working hard for come to fruition, right? And I also feel like you need some new things, like new adventure, new ideas, new approaches, and then a follow through, right? There's a little bit of action required. So where do you want to go? What do you want to talk about? Work, love? What's ailing you the most right now?
Oh, goodness. There is two things that's top on my list right now. One being my marriage. I've had just so many different things, and then when I get to a point, it's the follow through to completely dissolve it. And then I look at my kids, and I'm like, well, there's my marriage would be the first big one, and then the other thing is just found out my Aunt Cindy has cancer, so I'm really worried about that, and I'm like thinking already, going, well, I hope I win the lottery so I can complete her bucket list. Those are the two main things that's on my mind right now.
Okay, so let's start with your marriage. Yeah, I feel like you're really unhappy, and I feel like you've been unhappy for a while, and you keep trying to figure out how you can salvage the relationship and how you can make it work. And I feel like you've tried multiple different approaches, from like trying to talk about what you're feeling, what you need, what you want, to completely shutting down and disconnecting, to almost even acting like you're single at times, like screw this. So I feel like you've gone through multiple things. And what I feel a big issue is that only one of you is trying to resolve the issue, right? Only one of you is putting in the effort. And I feel like maybe your husband is a little bit in denial about what's going on. Like, I just feel like he maybe doesn't understand where you're coming from, or he doesn't see a problem. But I feel like he's got some issues. Would you consider him maybe an alcoholic? Does he drink a lot?
He doesn't drink a lot, but what he does do is he sneaks around a lot.
Ah, that's what it is.
Like he has like his work life. He comes home and just, blesses us with about 15 to 20 minutes of his time. And then he's got like another life, kind of like where he waits for me to go to sleep, and then he's on to something else. But
gotcha.
I just don't have the energy to.
Well, I think you've just got some fear about taking the next step. I feel like ultimately you know what you want to do, and that is get a divorce. But there's just things, you're afraid to do that follow through, right? You don't want to hurt anybody. You are a little afraid, like, what am I going to do on my own? It's a big change
Yes.
and a big shift. But I feel like you would be happier and he would be happier as well. So to me, I feel like it would be a positive thing and it would help you move forward in life. Now, I only have a few minutes left, so I want to address the issue with your aunt. And if you send me an email after this to AskRebecca today at gmail.com, I will email you a book that I may help you with the relationship stuff. Okay.
Okay.
The issue with your aunt. I feel like I feel like it's serious. Okay. And I feel like you know that. I feel like the diagnosis came back pretty, like high ranking in the stage, whatever, how they categorize it. I feel like it could be like stage 3 or 4. Have you gotten that diagnosis yet?
Not yet. That'll be Monday.
Okay. So I feel like it is going to be somewhat higher in the ranking. And she's definitely going to need your love and support. And I feel like you will be able to knock things off of her bucket list. I feel like you guys need to make sure that you keep her in a positive mindset. And I do feel like she can get through this as long as she keeps a positive attitude. And that's going to take you helping her, stay positive and do some stuff on her bucket list. And I think, it's going to be challenging, but it's not something she can't overcome. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Right. Oh, you're welcome. I only have 30 seconds, probably less now. Don't forget, send me an email, AskRebecca today at gmail.com, and I will give you the book that I was talking about, okay?
I'll do that. I'll do that right now.
Thank you for calling. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. See you next week. Bye.